appointed time. I know many of you don't know my story, where I came from and how I came to be. I've been fighting with this tooth and nail. The last time I had a video out, this woman flat out told me that she didn't want to work with me, but she'll accept my money to buy a moldavite stone. How do you fix your mouth to say something not like that? That she did not want to work with me because I vented on YouTube of the things that I've been through. And she felt that I had anger within me. Well, anyone who had been through what I've been through would be angry. But I've since forgive, let live, and let go. But I feel that I owe you all that are watching me, even some of you new subscribers, of who I am and how I came to be. There are many of you who may not like the things I have to say, or may not really understand the things that I'm saying. Forgive the background noise, but if you have time to listen to who I am and how I came to be, and why I'm exactly where I am right now today, I started out here in Texas. I don't want to make this long and drawn out because I know there are many people get bored and they don't want to hear for too long. So I'm going to say that what was told to me here 18 years ago, that I was going to write a book. And I said to myself, did this woman not know that I am illiterate? And I traveled 1,400 miles away. And I was told a second time that I was going to write a book. Then but before I was told this, I moved from Texas to Las Vegas. And it took me a while to find a job. When I got there, when I did go there in the beginning, it was like I was meeting people that were very California-like, Hollywood-like, fake. I went to go and see about work at one club, and the man was like, yeah, I'll hire you, you come back, blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, I drop everything here in Texas and then move to Las Vegas. And then when I get there, I met with fake people. But there was only one person that gave me my very first chance. I seen this person when I came in, and I seen this person when I came out. I was in Vegas for a bit of 8 years, but the way I seen this man when I came in was not the way I saw him when he went out. I received that chance, and I was very grateful for that chance. Before I left here, before I left Texas, I was a national bodybuilder. You may not look like it now, but I was a national bodybuilder. And I went to work at a nightclub and I tore a tricep. Then I had surgery on my stomach and had to repair a hernia. But these things, I'm grateful for what happened, because if they had not happened, no telling where I would be. And then being in bodybuilding, you have to use substance in order to gain as much mass as possible. I'm no saint. I've seen it all. But mine was not to get a high. It was to gain popularity and to become as big as I could. But I'm glad this was taken away from me, because I could be on dialysis. I could be, missing my limbs or anything. But I'm glad this was taken away from me. Because if not, I wouldn't have found the Holy Spirit. Then I tried my hand in wrestling. Someone got injured, and then all of a sudden, I was blamed for it. So this person, in punishment, he made me run the ropes over and over and over again, to where I was dragging my right leg, to where my knee was basically giving out on me. But that was a lesson the Holy Spirit put me through that I needed to see, because that was not where I was supposed to be. So then one day I wanted to move into this place, and my realtor took me. And when she did take me, I went and I looked at the place. I didn't sign any paperwork, but she just took me there to just look at it. And I'm looking at the townhome, and I'm going upstairs. And as I'm walking down the stairs, I see a vision of me and my dog walking out the front door. This was the very first sign that my eye was open, my spiritual eye was open. Then, no more than a week later, I was in that townhome, walking my dog out the front door of that townhome. Then, that very first week was Chinese New Year. And this woman had up a crystal booth, and she says to me, "Do you know that you're from Atlantis?" What really woke me up is when I started seeing the Chinese community. This whole time I didn't see it. I was a Buddhist at the whole time. I didn't see it. But I noticed that they use crystals. And for the first time, my eyes are open. And then when this woman told me who I was, that not who I was, but me being from Atlantis, some type of imperial guard or something like that, I'm not sure. A guardian of Atlantis. But as time moved on, I was told about synchronicity. I was told how to communicate with the Holy Spirit. I was starting to have problems in a relationship. went to the lady and I said, I don't know what's going on with her, but something's not right. She said, well, burn this stick. If she doesn't like it, there's something demonic that's within her. So when I burned the Palo Santo, it didn't bother her. When we moved out of the townhome, I had a lucid dream. I saw the sun up close and personal. Then I saw a yellowish green orb the very next day in a far, far distance. I didn't know what it was. About 2 days later, after we go to the doctor for her to get surgery on her finger, she called me from in the back where I was sitting in the waiting room and she was in the back. She called me on my phone and she said, guess what? I said, what? She said, I'm pregnant. I was like, oh, wow. And then it came to my subconscious that what I saw in the etheric world, the yellowish green orb, was the unborn child. It was the fetus that was in her womb. So then I started thinking about when was the first vision I've ever had. And then when I remembered the vision, it was me and my dog walking out the front door of the townhome. This is when I really recognized, and this is when I was really awakened. And then we started getting into it. Things started getting really bad. And I seen her come to me out of the restroom, and I can see the brightness of the light from the restroom. I can see the tub, I can see the toilet, and I can see the zinc. But I can also see her standing in front of me in shadow. But I can see every line under her face, her eyes. I can see everything clearly, but she was in shadow. She had a pregnancy test in her hand. She says, I'm no longer pregnant. Now, mind you, this is my vision that I saw. About a couple weeks later, she's arguing with me about an ex, but not knowing that she was tapped my phone because I trusted her. I was good to her. But I just talked to people that I was still friends with, which was exes. And not for anything in particular special, but just that. You know, just to keep in touch, just to find out what's going on here and stuff like that. And, you know, it's not often that I speak to them, but every once in a while I do. But these are people that I have not burned bridges with, but they burn bridges with me. And one person I burned bridges with, but we still kept in contact. But I didn't know she tapped my phone because I just trusted everything, you know, about her. Even though she did substance, and out of all the things that she's done, you know, with promiscuous and doing substance, I accepted it, and I was willing to continue to be with her, even though I found all of these things out, because I didn't find them out until it came close to the end of the relationship. And I was willing to accept her past, no matter what she did. This was before me, and this was the time of now at that point. So I was willing to accept her past and drug use, you know, and sexual immoralities, with different men. Then one day, 2 weeks later, after I seen the vision, I spoke to her and I told her my vision, and she said to me, when the child comes, I'm going to put child support on you. I said, you don't want to do that. She said, I'm going to put child support on you. And I said, you know what? I said, you're no longer pregnant. She said, what are you talking about? I said, I had a vision of you coming to me telling me that you were no longer pregnant. And I said, you're no longer pregnant. And the very next day, for 7 days, she had a miscarriage. Then the person that hired me had a stroke and an aneurysm at the same time. The one that gave me my very first chance. We separated for a little while because the job that we were at, they closed the club down. And I wind up at another club. I hadn't seen him for a while. But like I said, when I seen him, when I came in, and I saw him when I left out. But when I saw him when I left out, it was not the same. It was completely different. It wasn't the same. So he was in a coma. And for 7 days, I called for him in the spirit. During meditation, I called for him 7 days straight. All of a sudden, on that 7th day, he came to me in a ball of light. I needed to get confirmation that day. So that Saturday night, I found out that Saturday morning, they let him go. And that whole time, he was with me from Saturday morning all the way till Sunday afternoon, going into the night. Because the very same woman that said that I was from Atlantis, she had a friend that I spoke to that was a medium. And this medium told me that she felt blood rushing down her throat, and her head hurt really bad, and her chest was hurting. She said she kept swallowing blood. And then all of a sudden, she said that, and this is what I don't get about people. They say spirits don't roam, or you don't see them, you can't do this, you can't do that. But obviously this woman saw, because there was no way she could have known when me and this person would leave each other's company from work. He would do a certain movement. There's no way she could have known it. Because when he did this movement, I got you. This is exactly what she was doing. So no person can sit up and say, oh, well, that's not true. There's no spirits. That's a lie. Spirits don't roam. You can't see them. If they were there, all the white people, this, that, black people, it would always be happening. No, they're there. When I saw that, I knew it was real, because it brought me to tears. Then all of a sudden, when I left there, when I left from the meeting with the medium, I talked to a woman who owned the store. She's the one that told me I was from Atlantis. She said that, I said I was not happy, because she said that I was here just to record events on the earth. I wasn't satisfied with that. I wasn't happy with what I heard. I was very, very, because I knew I was here for more than that. I knew it. I felt it. So then she said, well, you see, she said that the owner of this place said that, she said, you're a very powerful person. No, that's not what she said. She said, you're just, I'm trying to put it in the right words. Exactly what she said verbatim. She said that I told her that I didn't like my reading. And I told her that I know I'm here for more than just that. She said, well, I just hope you're on our side. That's exactly the words that she said. I just hope you're on our side. And I said, I'm on the side of light. She said, I just hope you're on our side. To me, I felt like when someone says that to you, you must be a very powerful person. And I just kept saying, when I left that place, I said, I know God, I know God, I know God. I just kept saying it over and over and over again. I know God, I know God, I know God. I just kept saying it over and over. Then when I get on the bus, I just kept saying it over and over again in my head. And all of a sudden, the Holy Spirit sent me a vision. And this vision was of people being pummeled by stones and rocks. I didn't know what that meant, but when I got off the bus, I was in tears. And I know I'm saying this the second time around, because I know I just recently did this. But since you probably already heard this already, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. But this is written in the Bible, and it's a biblical prophecy. But it's a memory of the Holy Spirit, but it's a vision for me. So I'm going to skip ahead. I said to the Holy Spirit, Holy Spirit, I said, I can't do it anymore. At this point, me and the girl had broken up. I said, Holy Spirit, I can't do it anymore. I recognized the pattern that I had been living. I tried every trick in the book, but nothing worked. I say, I realized that I'm sent here for a spiritual purpose and not a human purpose. Not human interaction, a spiritual reaction. And I said that I can't do it anymore. I said, Holy Spirit, take the wheel, take the stirrups. I'll sit in the back. You lead. You lead. You guide. Teach me, mold me. My life is for you to do it as you will. And the Holy Spirit took over. Before all of this, I kept seeing an area code over and over and over again. Billboards, license plates, signs, my phone, seeing the numbers, area code, over and over and over again. And I knew I had to come back here because that's what kept showing me. So when I came back here, I stayed with my daughter for a few months. Then I moved in with my friend. And this is when my ancestors started teaching me about my awareness. I acquired a crystal. And in 3 weeks, I was in a vision, in a dream. I was up in the clouds, in the sky, pulling lightning from the clouds. And the crystal was seated in a staff. And I did exactly what the dream showed me. I seated the crystal in the exact staff that I saw in my dream. The Holy Spirit, my ancestors, led me to a modality that I could work in to be of service to people. One day, I get my certificate. I'm skipping a lot of stuff. I get my certificate. and I started working, but I was around people that I had no idea the type of people I was around. I didn't learn until after everything happened because at this point I was naive. But the very first event that I went to, I can see that there was a lot of people that was supposedly call themselves spiritual. To me, what I saw, it was just a fad for them. To me, what I saw, there was nobody really intuitive. There was really nobody, maybe only two people that I saw that was really intuitive. And only really two people gravitated to me. And I could see that these people are intuitive, but the rest, it was just a fad for them. So this kind of disturbed me. This really bothered me. But everybody has agenda. Everyone has agenda. I'm gonna pick this up in a second. I'll be back.